Superintendent Spearman says this new fleet of buses will be ready to roll by next semester. So far, all we know is that it's too early in the investigation to determine whether or not these fires were all connected. One bill would reduce the size of the board from 20 down to 11 members, making it one of the smallest in the state. As you can see behind me, many students have been sitting outside the boardroom for the last hour and a half since executive session was called at 10:24. Several council members tell ABC Columbia that they are in favor of releasing the information, saying the public should not be kept in the dark when it comes to public transportation projects. For the second time in 8 weeks, Dante Johnson faced the family of Nevaeh Adams and Cherie Bradley. Even though authorities say Johnson confessed to them that he killed Bradley and Adams, his public defender is still going to fight for his client.
I think what's important to emphasize is my client remains innocent until this process is completed.
Several family members were in the courtroom today, and some say it hasn't gotten any easier to face the man who has caused their family so much pain.
When I seen the defendant today, I just looked at him. It makes me a little nervous. I was a little nervous today, but it's just never easy.
Family members looked on as an officer from the Sumter Police Department recounted details from the night of the murders. He revealed a drop of Nevaeh's blood was found outside the apartment and that the DNA of Cherie Bradley, not her 5-year-old daughter, was found on the alleged murder weapon. Nevaeh's grandfather was so overcome with emotion, he had to leave the courtroom.
I felt myself getting very, very short of air, and I felt myself getting angry. I felt myself just blowing up.
Authorities have yet to find Nevaeh's body. Even with the revelations today in court, the family is holding out hope that Nevaeh is alive.
That's what I believe with all my heart. I don't believe Nevaeh is dead.
We won't stop until we got something, whether she's gone or she's alive. We will not stop until something is presented before me.
We work very hard to actually take these kids to and from school, and we just want to be paid what we'll do. Not only what they think we should be paid, but we should be paid what we are worth.
Ever since the 3 Orangeburg County school districts consolidated into one back in July, some bus drivers say they have not received their paychecks or they received a lower amount than what they feel they are owed.
They told me on one of my timesheets that they would honor the time, but then when I went back in to actually get more information about it, they told me that they were not going to honor the timesheet, so I was short about $500.
Some brought their concerns to Interim Superintendent Darrell Johnson and his team, but some had mixed feelings coming out of the meeting.
He tried to knock us down to less than 4 hours a day, and even he couldn't answer the question in there as far as could he make a living off of 4 hours a day.
You can't pay your bills like that, mentally, physically, you can't pay your bills like that.
Dr. Johnson says the district could have done a better job in informing the drivers about the uniform pay scale. He says drivers will get paid for the amount of time they actually drive the bus, plus an extra hour for pre- and post-ride inspections.
Everyone who has worked will be paid, but we will not be able to pay you for time that you did not work. We cannot be a good steward of the taxpayer dollar if I pay you for 40 hours when you're only driving for 33 or 32.
Some drivers who have served the county for years say the actions over the last few weeks could have them looking elsewhere for work.
If this right here persists and they try to cut our pay and treat us like garbage, I'm going to be like everybody else and just go look for another job.
For years, Brandon Zinn has been driven by a childhood passion.
Since I was like 6 years old, I always wanted to be a firefighter.
Zinn was 2 weeks away from finishing firefighter training, but in January, a motorcycle accident almost derailed his dream.
I don't remember any of the accident whatsoever, but coming here and just waking up in the hospital and knowing I lost my leg was very difficult to process, but everybody here helped me get through it.
For 2.5 weeks, doctors at Prisma Health's Level 1 Trauma Center took care of Zinn and guided him through his recovery. The unit's trauma medical director says it's remarkable to see the progress he has made.
To get him over that hump, if you will, and to be able to say to mom and dad, I think he's going to make it. And when they do make it, they make such an incredible recovery like Brandon has made. It's worth its weight in gold.
Without the Level 1 Trauma Center, I probably would have not have made it. I was extremely close to death. Without that quick response, I would not be here today. Would not be with my child and my wife.
Zinn says the Columbia Fire Department has been very supportive throughout his recovery. He says he has to get a special piece for his prosthetic leg and go through some training, but he's hopeful he can make his mark on the department.
An amputee firefighter are rare things, and the City of Columbia, to my knowledge, hasn't had one, so I will be what everybody looks to see if an amputee firefighter can make it through the City of Columbia.
Tim Scott, ABC Columbia News.